Hey guys, welcome back. So today's video is going to be all about my top 5 handbag deal breakers. What I mean by that is whenever I'm shopping for a new handbag, if the handbag in question has one of these features that really annoy me, that is just a deal breaker for me and I won't go for that bag. I thought this video topic will be rather helpful for some of you who might be considering certain bags, because sometimes you look at a handbag and you absolutely love it because it is so cute and you can think of all the ways that you can style the bag, but sometimes you don't think about the practical side of things and you may actually end up making a regretful purchase. So it might actually be quite helpful to consider these things, even though these factors may not be the absolute deal breaker for you. This video is in collaboration with another Australian luxury YouTuber, PurseOnFleek, that is the channel name, and her name is Mel. Hi babe, I am so excited for this collaboration video. I'm sure a lot of you guys already watch her videos, but if you've never watched her videos, I do highly recommend that you check her channel out because she's all about luxury. She's an Australian mummy and her daughter is adorable and she just had a baby boy, and I've got to give it to her. I don't even know how she's still managing to put out so many videos, and she is just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to luxury, and she is especially knowledgeable with Hermes. And the other thing that I really love about her, she is so honest and straightforward. She tells you how it is, and she is a minimalist, so she doesn't keep anything that she doesn't absolutely love. So you guys know that I've been downsizing my handbag collection, and when I was doing that, I was chatting with her on Instagram so much and she was helping me out majorly. Whenever I wasn't sure about whether I should let a bag go or not, I would talk to her and she'll point out all of the things that made me realize, yeah, that bag doesn't really work out for my lifestyle. So yeah, I do recommend that you check her out, and that is also why Mel and I both thought this might be a brilliant idea for a collaboration, because her deal breakers will be different to my deal breakers, and the features she considers to be important I may not even be aware of. And between the two of us, you guys can probably think of a lot of different factors when it comes to making a decision on purchasing a handbag. So I'm really excited to check out Mel's video really soon as well. And if you've come from Mel's channel, welcome. I am so glad you're here and I hope we can be friends too. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel too. So with that out of the way, let's get right into these deal breakers. So the very first thing and the most important thing for me is when the bag is way too small to even fit all my essentials. That is the biggest deal breaker for me. Although mini bags are really trending, I need to be able to fit at least 3 or 4 things, which are my iPhone 7 Plus, 1 lip balm, a car key, and a card holder. That is not too much to ask, and some of the smallest bags in my collection can even fit that. So when a handbag is way too small that it can't even fit those 4 things, that is just not worth it for me. And I know a lot of people have bought those Jack Moose, the Chiquito, I think they're called. And some of those bags are so tiny. I'm sure they come in different sizes, but literally they fit 3 credit cards and you have to hold everything else. So in my opinion, what is even the point of having a handbag? I would rather just hold on to everything and save my money and not buy the handbag. The next deal breaker is small mouths. So even if the bag is not so mini, it is a decent size, but if the zip opening or wherever the opening of the bag is just too tight that whenever I put my hand in, I end up having to squeeze my items or squeeze my hand in to the bag, that is a no-go for me. And I don't even have big hands. So if a bag mouth opening is that small that I have to squeeze my hand in, that is a major inconvenience for me. And to be honest, I haven't come across too many bags that fall into that category, but I remember when I had my Louis Vuitton Speedy 25 in the bandolier version. That bag is a small bag, but not a mini bag by any means, but it didn't have the biggest opening. And obviously that opening was fine to work with, but even that was annoying to me. And I just wanted to show you one thing quickly because I do get this question from you guys from time to time. So my Loewe puzzle bag, a lot of people actually ask whether it is easy to get in and out of the bag, and I can happily report it is very easy to get in and out of the bag. This flap is really easy to lift, and have a look at the side here. At the end of the zip, the 2 parts aren't sewn together. So if they were sewn together, I think that'll make the mouth a lot more restrictive. But because these 2 parts expand completely, they're not stitched together, it is really easy to get in and out of the bag. So this bag I have no issues with. So this is a great example of a bag that could have had a really limited opening, but genius design here. This little bit of detail makes the bag so easy to use. So definitely no to bags with small zip openings. Deal breaker number 3, Noisy bags. When a bag makes too much noise from just carrying it around or doing things that I'm supposed to do with the bag, like opening and closing the flap or even just carrying it on my shoulder, that just gets really annoying for me. And a really good example of that is my Chanel boy bag that I recently sold. That bag, because of the chunky hardware, whenever I was carrying the bag and when I make even the slightest amount of movement, like when I walk, the chain used to make a lot of noise because the metal bits would just hit against each other. And to make matters worse, the chain was fed through two metal hoops. So whenever the chain was moving past the hoops through which the chains attached to the bag, that used to make a lot of noise as well. So I don't think there's anything classy about a really noisy bag. And that was one of the major reasons I couldn't get on with the Chanel boy bag. And another good example is the Chanel Classic Jumbo in the caviar leather. The chain makes a lot of squeaky noise. I don't know whether it is true for every single batch of the leather. So every single season could be slightly different. My particular Jumbo was from the year 2014. And with the chain of that particular bag, where the caviar was interwoven between the metal links, the leather bit used to make a lot of squeaky noise. That wasn't too bad though. It wasn't too noisy, but sometimes even that little bit of noise was getting to me. So I also sold my Jumbo. I mean, the noise wasn't the reason for that particular bag, but they were the two probably loudest bags in my collection, and they are both gone. The next handbag deal breaker for me is the bags that can't stand straight on their own when you put them on the floor or on a bench. So some bags don't actually have a base that it can stand itself on. So obviously if you have a look at the majority of my handbag collection around me, I do tend to go for bags that can sit up straight without me having to hold it. I just feel when the bag doesn't sit up straight, I always have to think about how I'm gonna put the bag down and position the bag. So whenever I put the bag down, I have to worry about, okay, I need to either lean it against something or I need to lay it flat. And sometimes if the bag is an open bag, the contents can spill out or it just gets really disorganized in there and everything just gets jumbled up. I may be a little bit OCD. I'm all about keeping my things organized inside of my bags. And a really good example of that would be something like a Chloe Faye bag. You won't be able to keep it straight. It kind of just flops to one side. And along the same lines, I also don't like bags that are really floppy. So I don't mean I always go for completely structured bags. Of course, I also love soft, smushy bags that aren't completely structured, but I just don't like it when the bag is so flimsy that it can't even hold its own shape. And a good example of that would be something like the Goyard St. Louis tote bag. So that is the reason why I have not added that tote bag, because I've heard the canvas is really thin and the sides would just fall upon each other. And I do have two designer totes in my collection, the Neverfull from Louis Vuitton and the Daily Battle from Forêt Lepage, and both of them have some sort of stiffness to them. The Louis Vuitton Neverfull more so, it can actually stand on its own, and that is it keeping its structure with me not holding it anywhere. So I actually really like the stiffness of that. The Forêt Lepage Daily Battle tote is a little bit flimsier, so as you can see it's a little bit softer, but I can combat that by having a organizer in there, so that keeps the bag shape quite decent. But I've heard that with the Goya St. Louis tote, even with a bag organizer, the canvas itself is just so thin, it just falls anyway. So the bag organizer in there is actually my Samorga organizer for the Neverfull, but since the sizes are similar, I'm just using that for now, but it is not the perfect fit. So I am definitely going to be getting an organizer specifically for this bag, and yeah, I'll show you when I get it, because a lot of you have asked what organizer I use in this. So the answer is I don't have the perfect organizer for this bag yet, but I will get onto that because I did find a perfect size for this bag. And my very last deal breaker is when bags have no organizational pockets on the interior at all. So even if it's one slip pocket, one zip pocket, I like bags to have at least one or two little pockets where I can keep things that I want easy access to, like parking tickets or a lip gloss or a tiny little hand cream, whatever it is. I just want my bags to have little slip pockets here and there that will help me keep the inside of the bag organized. I know that you can purchase organizers for bags to keep your things in pockets that come with the organizers, but I don't always like using a bag organizer every single time, especially if it's a smaller bag, because it does eat up a lot of space inside the bag. So sometimes if I'm not carrying a lot, of course course, I don't mind having the organizer in there, but some days I do like to carry a few more things in smaller bags, and having the bag organizer really eats up a lot of the space in there. Also, whenever I buy a bag, I don't always have to need to buy an organizer. So I want to be able to use a bag on its own already. So I'm pretty sure every single bag in my collection has some sort of an inner pocket, and that is really important to me. Again, I think I'm a little bit OCD, having to keep everything organized all the time, but that just makes me happy, and you know, that is the most important thing. So now with the 5 deal breakers out of the way, I want to make a few honorable mentions. So these are not complete deal breakers, but things that I really prefer a bag to have if I am spending designer bag kind of money to purchase a handbag. So I wouldn't absolutely say no to a bag, but I will really consider all the other features to make sure that all the positives of the bag will outweigh that one little thing that may be not so ideal. So the first thing of that would be metal fit on the bottom of the bag. So a lot of Louis Vuitton bags and Chanel bags don't come with a metal fit, and what I mean by the metal fit would be these metal studs on the bottom of the bag. So when you put the bag on the floor, the leather doesn't end up touching the surface, and that will protect the leather on the bottom of the bag. So when you are spending a lot of money on a handbag, I really prefer my bags to have the metal feet on the bottom. So this Louis Vuitton Alma is a great example. It has feet, but a lot of Louis Vuitton bags don't have any. And like I said, although I would not say no to a bag just because it doesn't have metal feet, it is something that makes me really happy if a bag offers that. The second thing, I do really like a bag to have an adjustable shoulder strap. So if a bag comes with a shoulder strap and it's not an exclusively top handle bag, I think it's really nice for the shoulder strap to be adjustable because we are all different heights. I am not very tall. I'm only 164 centimeters tall. I'm sure there are ladies even shorter than me. I know, Mel, you're probably a little bit shorter than me, and there are super tall ladies. So you just can't expect the shoulder straps to have one length and fit all of the heights perfectly or acceptably. So yeah, I really like a handbag that comes with a shoulder strap to have an adjustable shoulder strap. That is really helpful. The other feature that is not a must, but I really like on a bag is an exterior back pocket. A lot of the Chanel handbags have that Mona Lisa pocket at the back. So if I show you an example, that is an example. So you can slip little things in there that you want easy access to. So that is really handy. Although it is not a necessity and it's not a deal breaker, I do find that really, really handy. So these features and factors that I've just discussed, I think are really important things that could seem petty, but when you are dealing with a handbag on a day-to-day basis, that really makes your experience with the bag nicer. Don't forget to check out PurseOnFleek. I'll leave her channel down below and the link to her video as well. And I'll also leave a couple of handbag videos on screen. So if you haven't watched them already, you've got something else to watch. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. As always, thank you so much for watching and spending some of your precious time with me today. And I can't wait to see you again soon in my next video. Bye guys.